For many years, Christopher Columbus was regarded as one of the great heroes of Western history. He was touted as the New World's pivotal discoverer who subsequently brought civilization to its backward peoples. Whatever hardships and cruelties were inflicted upon the natives was generally thought to be insignificant in comparison with the benefits of European science and religion. Yet even his most ardent admirers acknowledged that Columbus was self-centered, ruthless, avaricious, and a racist. Later on, there was a Native American indigenous people movement that brought in a new era and a new way of thinking about Columbus, and we are going to explore that in this TED Talk. My name is Max Marzola. I'm a student here at Arizona State, and I'm here to talk to you today about Christopher Columbus and what he's brought to this country and what kind of new innovations he's brought to the world. What national or international policies changed as a direct result of your character's journey? American colonization is one that Christopher Columbus changed. One thing Columbus brought the indigenous people and the New World was currency. Right when he lands, he talks about trading simple objects such as, "I gave some of them red caps and glass beads which they hung around their necks, also many other trifles. These things pleased them greatly, and they became marvelously friendly to us. They afterwards swam out to the ships, boats, in which we were sitting, bringing us parrots and balls of cotton thread and spears and many other things, which they exchanged with us for such objects as glass beads, hawks, and bells. In fact, they were very willing, traded everything they had." Here we see the first transaction between the Old World and the New World. This transaction may not have gone the way the natives had hoped later on, but it is the first time we see goods being traded between them in a peaceful and fair manner. This also fits into phase 2 of the hero's journey that we spoke about in class, which is a surprising welcome to the hero's new trials. Another part of international and national policy that changed directly from Columbus was Spanish-European colonization and the start of globalization. Now this, I spoke about trade, but in this one, I like to talk about war and some other things that happened. During the later part of the 20th century, a Native American awareness movement developed in the United States and elsewhere, which called Columbus's legacy into question. To those critics, the year 1492 represented not just a major turning point in world history, but the starting gun for the destruction of native cultures. Exploration was quickly superseded by settlement and exploitation. War, slavery, disease, and death followed in their wake. Now, Columbus may not have thought that this would all happen as quick as it did, but he did happen to be the catalyst for it, and he claims that it was in the will of God and that it was for the greater humanity, but it may not have gone that way in other people's eyes. What new technologies resulted from Christopher Columbus's journey? Celestial navigation was one. In celestial navigation, the navigator observes celestial bodies, sun, moon, and stars to measure his latitude. Each star has a celestial latitude. If you know the latitude of a star that is directly overhead, that's the same as your latitude on Earth. Even if a star isn't directly overhead, if you can measure the angle between the star and the overhead point, you can still determine your latitude that way, provided you measure the star at the time of night that it is highest in the sky. Without this, we wouldn't be able to form GPS systems and countless other forms of technology that we have today. He also contributed to speed calculation. Speed calculation of your course was measured by a magnetic compass. Distance was determined by a time and speed calculation. The navigator multiplied the speed of the vessel by the time traveled to get the distance. In Columbus's time, the ship's speed was measured by throwing a piece of flotsam over the side of the ship. The pilot had a chant to time the movement of the flotsam over the side of the ship. The time taken to pass the marks was used to give a rough guide to the speed of the ship. Speed and course were measured every hour, not wildly accurate, but sufficient for most navigators of the day. Without this, we would not have countless technologies that we have today. Also, long seafaring ships were a direct correlation from the voyage that Columbus took. Without Columbus and his ambition to go to the New World on a long voyage, humanity would have never found the need to have long seafaring ships. So we can thank him for giving us the need for these massive tankers we have today. What innovations resulted directly from this journey? As I said, this is a kind of wrap-up of what I said. Colonization and conversion of indigenous natives. The God, gold, and glory that Columbus promised the king and queen of Spain. Columbus claims that his voyage and all the enslavement of indigenous people was all justified to bring them to God and was actually saving them. But in his letters back to the king and queen of Spain, he mentions the word gold almost 5 times more than he mentions the word God. It was more about his own glory and being the first person to create this new world and economy unlike anything in Europe. It was all about what people had said about him, that he was a self-centered, racist, but he believed that it was his destiny to find this new world and to bring a new economy and help all these people. He believed deep down that he was helping these people. I do believe that he deserves the credit to be a pivotal new world discoverer who brought civilization to this new world, but also he did bring on an entire genocide to an innocent race. And we can't be the judges of what was right and what was wrong because we're living in a direct timeline that would not have happened without him. I live in America today because of him. We're all in America today because of him. So we have to be fortunate, but also know that that was wrong in the way he did it. Thank you. Have a good day.